take care of your mental health. I cannot stress this enough. Literally, I remember in second year, I had 2 burnouts, and the mental stress, the mental trauma that it caused me is so, like, how I even got through that, honestly. Like, I remember, so in first year of uni, I started the academic year with no student finance, right? Second year, the exact same thing happened, and honestly, I was not ready. I was not ready, I was not prepared. And what I went through second year as a whole, I don't feel like there would have been enough preparation to prepare me, honestly, for what I went through. So the first L I took was literally, just not having money for the second time around. This scenario was completely different from the first, but either way, it was still an L. Anyway, when I told student finance and I told my bank, they were just not helping, and I was just like, okay, we move. So yeah, that was the first mental trauma that I was just like, I went through this again. Okay, I can go through it the second time around. But yeah, just going through that. Although at that time I was working part-time, but then when you start working part-time, it takes away the time that you can then use for something else. Second L that I took, so where I was living in second year was different from where I was living in first year. And second year, from the get-go, so I was living in a flat, and our front door was like faulty from the beginning. So we told like the landlords and the maintenance team, and we said, look, we don't want you to fix the door here and there, just give us a brand new door, because these people had money, right? They were taking our money, we were paying them rent. So they came a few times and they were fixing the little cracks here and there. We kept telling them, no, we'd like, the cracks are okay, like, just leave the cracks alone, give us a new front door. They weren't doing that, basically. Cut this short, people then broke into our flat. Useless people who don't want to do anything with their education, just running around different flats, trying to break in, right? And these times, the uni accommodation didn't have cameras. And I remember telling them, actually, you should invest in cameras. They didn't want to listen to me, right? So there was these group of people who we eventually found out who they were. Started stealing stuff from our flat. They first started with taking my bananas in the fridge, and maybe they were really hungry, I don't understand, but and then they went from that to then taking some of my flatmate's stuff in the kitchen. And I remember one time one of them, I don't know why, but my flatmate had like a massive long knife in the kitchen. They took that, and then when they took that, that's when we was like, nah, this is more than serious. We went to the landlord people. Do you know what they told us? They said to us, oh, do you know who it is that's stealing your stuff? If we did, we wouldn't come to you, right? It got to a point where even me and my flatmate ended up going to the police station. And then we eventually all got mini fridges, and I just kept most of my stuff in my room. That's basically how pretty much the whole of second year was. By the time the landlords, people them, decided to get cameras, it was a bit too late, because these people who were stealing stuff from different flats stopped doing it. When I eventually found out who it was, if you knew how angry I was, guys. But for the love of God, pray for your enemies, love your enemies, right? When I saw them. Anyways, story for another day. So going through that in my accommodation with the fact that I didn't even have money was just a pain. And then on top of that, when it came to my grades, guys, ask me how I can fail my own original piece of work. My own original piece of work. I don't understand. I remember just looking at my grade thinking, nah, it's not mine. It's somebody else's. Maybe there's another Adeola on my course that I've never seen, because this is not my grade. Guys, my lecturer literally I remember the grade as well. It wasn't even 40%. I said, second year counts, right? So I was just so devastated. On top of that, in the first semester, I remember writing an essay, and the lecturer graded me 43%. And honestly, I just don't understand how they graded us. It was just horrible. And I remember the original piece of work that I had to redo it when I was abroad. So I went on an Erasmus placement scheme, and I literally had to hand in a physical copy. But the issue was I wasn't even in the country, right? So I was there thinking to myself, how am I actually going to send this to my uni? So I was thinking, all right, where I am, I could potentially just do like a Royal Mail equivalent, you know, and then it will hit my uni. But fortunately enough, around that time, my friend was on campus sitting. I just sent it to her via email, and she was able to print it off for me and then hand it in. Guys, when I got my paper back, do you know what grade? Do you know what grade they gave me? Or what would have been my grade, shall I say? A whole 74%. My own original piece of work. Tell me how someone fails something first time. They tweak it a little bit. Like, when I say tweak it a little bit, guys, I did the minimum tweak. It comes back at 74%. But you know the issue is, guys, when you redo an essay or an exam, it's capped at 40, right? I don't know how many times I cried, guys, because I know I definitely cried because that pain. How can I fail something, redo it, and get a first? It just shows you how screwed up the education system can honestly be, like, really and truly. So I went through all of this, how I coped, how I survived. Prayer, number one. And actually just going away, traveling, for me was just, I knew I love traveling, but I never thought I could travel so much. I just traveled everywhere. Easter, I went to Nigeria, although that wasn't really a holiday. Then for my birthday, I went to New York because I was like, uni is not going to stress me out. And then whilst I was doing my Erasmus placement in Europe, I went to other countries in Europe as well. Honestly, if I didn't do that, I don't think I would have even gone to final year because I was contemplating just quitting. And I just thought there's no point in me even doing final year. And honestly, one thing I would definitely say is your current situation doesn't have to be how your future can be. And your current situation doesn't necessarily define you. It doesn't define you. It's not the end. It's not your end. Like, it's a process, it's a journey, and you just have to keep on going, even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Especially even in this year with everything that's gone on, like, I still believe there's hope. I still believe that actually, like, one day this will just be part of your story to share with other people. I think the second advice that I would definitely give is knowing who your close ones are and people who are actually there for you. Not people who just say, oh yeah, I'm there for you, or I care for you. People who will show up. People who knew what I went through, or at least had an idea and actually offered to care. For me, those are people that I will honestly cherish. Even if it was just, they just bought me something because they knew I didn't have any money, or they just checked up on me, or just little things. Honestly, I will cherish. Just know who's around, who's in your circle, who's in your environment, who's pouring into you, who are you pouring into, honestly, because it was those kind of people that helped me to get through second year and then actually go into final year. And also the third thing I'd say is honestly just knowing what triggers you. So knowing in terms of your mental stress, and see how much workload, for example, that you can take on. Like, don't say yes to everything. Even if it seems as a great opportunity, it doesn't mean you have to say yes. Like, you need to weigh it out, balance it out with everything else that you do, and see if you can actually take that on. Because burnout, for anyone else who has experienced it, you will know it's horrible. It's so horrible. Trying to please everyone, trying to do everything, and then at the cost of that, your own mental health then deteriorates. You don't want that. Honestly, I've been there, and it's not nice. Like, don't apologize for saying no or for saying sorry. You can't do this. You can't do that. Like, you've got to protect your peace at all time at the end of the day. So those are my 3 main tips for you.